Hey, what's up everybody? This is Brian and welcome back to the Beginning Cloudkit video tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to be getting started with Cloudkit. You'll learn how to get Cloudkit working in your app and of course, be introduced to two of my really close friends, the CKContainer and the CK database. Enabling Cloudkit in your app is relatively a straightforward process. Like other iOS technologies, Cloudkit is enabled by way of the Capabilities tab. You can find Cloudkit under the iCloud section and get it working, you simply enable it. You'll see that there are three provided iCloud services: Key Value Storage, iCloud Documents, and Cloudkit. Make sure to check the Cloudkit services. From there, you'll have a few options in regards to containers. By default, your container will match the bundle ID of your app, but you can also specify different containers if necessary. This brings about an important question. What the heck is a CK container? A CK container contains all the various pieces for Cloudkit to function in your app. By default, all apps have their own container, but you can also make your container function with other apps as well. Containers can be distilled into three different functions. First, they determine whether the user has a valid iCloud account. Next, they allow your user to discover other users of that container. And finally, and most importantly, they provide access to your databases. Cloudkit comes with three different databases. It used to come with two, a private and a public database, but with iOS 10, we now have a shared databases. These databases are where we store all our data for our app. Whenever we do a CRUD operation, that is a create, read, update, and delete, we're going to use one of these databases. In fact, you can think of this entire series as elaborating on one of these operations. A public database is always available, whether or not that user has an active iCloud account. So you can read from the database, but you can't write to it without an iCloud account. The private database gives you read and write access, but it is only viewable by that user. Finally, the shared database is for any records that are shared to you from other users. Both these databases require valid iCloud accounts. You can think of databases in terms of usage quota. Any records saved in the public database are counted against your app's quota. Any records saved in the private and shared databases are counted against your user's quota. Ideally, you should find a happy mix that works the best for you and your user.
In this demo, we're going to create a very simple app and we're going to enable Cloudkit within it. So here you can see we have Xcode already open and I have the single view application selected. So I'm going to select this, we're going to choose next, and we're just going to give it a simple name. So here you can see we have our name being Cloudkit Demo, and the bundle, the organization identifier, is CK Demo, and we'll just uncheck these unit tests. Okay, I have my simple app already set up. I'm going to choose my team, which is going to be Brian Moakley. It's going to set up all the development stuff, and now we're ready to go. So we want to add Cloudkit to this project. And the way we do this is we click the Capabilities tab like so. And you can see we have lots of things we can choose from. What we want is iCloud. So I'll expand this and you can see it gives us a little indication about what it provides us. Well, we're going to click on. And right away we get key value storage. But what we want is Cloudkit. So I'm going to select this check mark and you can see here we have use default container, and that defaults to our bundle identifier. Now you'll also notice that we have a Cloudkit dashboard. We'll be covering that in the next video. Now occasionally things will go wrong, and when that does happen, you'll see that there are steps that you can go to fix the problem. Oftentimes these results in bundle ID collisions or improperly configured projects. Thankfully, Cloudkit is getting much easier to set up, and these issues I'm finding are fewer and far between. Now, if you want to specify a custom container, you can see these are all the lists of containers that I've already built. And if one isn't there, I can always hit this plus sign and then add my new bundle identifier. For now, we're just going to use the default container. Okay, so now that we have Cloudkit active in our project, let's access it. So I'm going to just open up our view controller here, and we will close this over here, and we're just going to access a few things. The first most thing you're going to want to access is the container. So we'll just call this let container. And the way we get this is we call CKContainer. And you can see here, my code completion isn't coming up because I have not imported iCloud. And I can simply type import Cloudkit, like so. So now I have access to the CKContainer, and then I can just simply put default. And right away, I have access to my container, and then I can access various aspects of it. What I would like to access is my public database. So we will call this public database, like so. And we'll simply access this on the container, and we'll just put public cloud database. We can do the same for the private database also. And of course, the shared database. And that's it. Now you have access to all the things you need to get Cloudkit up and running on your project.
That's it for this video tutorial, but as always, we like to end off with a challenge. In your challenge, I want you to download the sample app and enable Cloudkit within it. This means you're gonna have to use your own bundle ID and your own container ID. Once you have it enabled, then I want you to edit the rwdevcondb.swift file. It should have 4 properties: a container, a public database, a private database, and a shared database. I want you to initialize these properties in the init method. See if you can do this. Now, if you get stuck or you're having problems, check out the challenge video solution for the answer. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
In your challenge, I gave you 2 tasks. One was to enable Cloudkit within the sample project, and the other was to get the container, the public database, the private database, and the shared database up and running in properties. Okay, let's tackle the first one. To do this, I'm going to select my project, and in the Capabilities tab, you can see we have iCloud here. I'm going to click the On button, and now you'll see that we have access to various iCloud components, and I'm going to choose Cloudkit. And you can see we're using the default container, which is referring to com.raywunderlich.course.rwdevcon. Of course, you can specify a container if you want, and that should be all you need to do. In cases where there are issues, you may see a Fix It button here, and you can just click that. Other times, they'll inform you of the error. In such cases, just walk through what they recommend. Thankfully, enabling Cloudkit in your project is much easier than it was a couple years ago. Okay, now let's enable our properties. So you can see here in the model group, we have rwdevcondb.swift. So I'm going to select this, and you can see we already have Cloudkit imported. If we didn't have Cloudkit imported, we'd get a compile error because we're already referencing the CKContainer and CK databases. All right, first we need to get our CKContainer. So we'll just type container equals, we're going to type CKContainer and default, like so. And that is our CKContainer. Now let's get our 3 databases. For our public DB, we'll simply refer to the container, and we'll just do public cloud database, and we'll do the same for private and shared. And that's it. Now we have the 3 properties, and we can refer to these properties now throughout this project. Now, another way to do this is if you didn't want to work with singletons, you can just simply type CKContainer. We'll do default, and then we can do public. And this is another way for accessing the database, but without using a class to encapsulate it.